The Galactic Coalition's generosity program was exactly what you'd expect from a bunch of superior beings who'd mastered faster-than-light travel and still couldn't master the concept of genuine altruism. Picture, if you will, the kind of generosity that comes with a 100-page contract and enough condescending footnotes to make a lawyer weep. Earth should be grateful, Ambassador Zithrix declared, their crystalline appendages twinkling in what they probably thought was a magnanimous gesture. Not every primitive species receives such consideration. The pause before consideration was longer than Earth's entire industrial revolution. Captain Zara Blackwood stood at attention, fighting the urge to roll her eyes so hard they'd achieve orbital velocity. Behind her, her ragtag crew, as the alien media so lovingly dubbed them, maintained what could charitably be called military discipline. Lieutenant Diego Martinez was counting ceiling tiles. Chief Engineer Maya Chen was mentally redesigning the entire ceremonial hall's inefficient lighting system, and Engineer Raj Khan was losing a battle with an ill-timed sneeze. And now, Xthrix continued, their voice modulating into what humans would recognize as the tone used to announce a participation trophy. We present Earth with its very own interstellar vessel. The massive hangar doors parted with all the ceremony of a cosmic joke's punchline. There, floating in dock, was humanity's first alien-gifted spaceship. The collective intake of breath from Earth's delegation wasn't exactly awe, more like the sound you make when your rich aunt gives you a hand-me-down sweater she claims was all the rage during the previous ice age. We call it, another pause, this one pregnant enough to qualify for maternity leave, the probability manipulator Mark 1. Blackwood squinted at the ship. It looked like someone had taken every rejected design from a sci-fi concept artist trash folder, thrown them into a blender, and hit puree while screaming future. The hull was an impossible shade of what might have been purple if purple had given up halfway through becoming a color. Modules stuck out at angles that made geometry majors wake up screaming. It's unique, Blackwood managed, diplomatic training earning its keep. Oh yes, Xthrix brightened, missing or ignoring the careful neutrality in her voice. It's the only one of its kind still in existence. All others were upgraded. They said upgraded, the way most people say euthanized. Maya Chen raised her hand because apparently she'd had enough of this diplomatic dance. Quick technical question. Why does it look like it's held together by spite and questionable engineering decisions? The alien delegation exchanged looks that screamed, how do we explain quantum mechanics to a goldfish? The probability manipulator operates on principles your species might find challenging, one of the junior ambassadors offered. It requires a certain flexibility of thought. Flexibility of thought, Martinez muttered, is diplomatic speak for, this thing's crazy and we're dumping it on you because we're too smart to use it ourselves. He wasn't wrong. As the ceremony dragged on, it became increasingly clear that Earth's great gift was the equivalent of being handed a cursed monkey's paw with a bow on it. The technical manual alone was a masterpiece of passive-aggressive documentation, with helpful notes like warning, operation may violate known laws of physics, not recommended, and, in case of temporal paradox, please contact your local reality administrator. Note, reality administrators may not exist in all dimensions. The crew's unofficial designation for their new command came naturally. Within hours, the probability manipulator Mark I had been rechristened HMS Paperweight, though Raj insisted on adding the improbable to its nameplate in what he claimed was decorative Sanskrit, but was actually a rather creative series of doodles. As the alien delegation prepared to depart, Zithrix offered one final piece of wisdom. Remember, the ship responds to belief, or lack thereof. We found it rather unreliable. They managed to make unreliable sound like a personal moral failing. Blackwood watched them go, then turned to her crew. Well, she said, surveying what was either humanity's first step into the galactic community or the universe's most elaborate practical joke. At least they didn't give us a used food replicator that only makes space tofu. Maya Chen was already elbow-deep in an access panel. Captain, she called out, her voice muffled by what appeared to be non-Euclidean engineering. I think I found the problem. This entire ship runs on sarcasm and improbability. Blackwood looked at her crew, a collection of misfits who'd made careers out of doing the impossible while complaining about it, and smiled. Well then, she said, I guess they gave it to exactly the right species. The HMS Paperweight hummed in what might have been agreement or possibly indigestion. It was going to be an interesting mission. All right, let's see what this heap of exotic matter can do, Maya Chen announced, spreading the technical manual across the engineering console. The manual promptly rearranged itself into what appeared to be a Mobius strip of passive-aggressive footnotes. According to this, she squinted at text that seemed to be reading itself. The probability manipulation drive operates by... Wait, this can't be right. She turned the manual sideways. It operates by harnessing the quantum uncertainty of belief systems to generate localized reality distortions. In English? Blackwood asked, leaning against a bulkhead that felt suspiciously like it was trying to solve differential equations. It runs on bullshit, Martinez offered helpfully from his station. Really advanced, scientifically proven bullshit. The ship's systems chose that moment to display a series of equations that looked like someone had challenged a mathematician to write poetry while drunk. Raj Khan, who had been quietly losing a staring contest with the navigation panel, suddenly sneezed. The equations rearranged themselves into a haiku about Schrödinger's cat. That's actually not far off, Maya admitted, flipping through more pages that seemed to exist in 4 dimensions simultaneously. The aliens couldn't make it work because they're too... She gestured vaguely. Logical. The ship needs operators who can look at impossibility and say, hold my coffee. So why give it to us? Blackwood asked, though she was beginning to suspect she knew the answer. Because humans are the galaxy's equivalent of that kid who never learned you can't divide by 0, Martinez said. We're the species that looked at the sound barrier and said, neat, let's break it. Raj, who had been suspiciously quiet, finally spoke up. I don't believe this piece of junk will even start, he muttered, pressing what he thought was the auxiliary power button but was actually a design flourish that shouldn't have done anything. The ship hummed to life. Everyone froze. Did you just turn on an impossibility-powered starship by not believing in it? Maya asked, her voice caught between professional outrage and delighted disbelief. I mean, technically, Raj defended. I still don't believe it's working. The engine's output doubled. Oh, this is beautiful, Maya breathed, watching the readings. It's not just running on disbelief. It's running on industrial-grade human skepticism. We're the only species stubborn enough to doubt something into working. Blackwood watched as her chief engineer practically danced around the engine room, pointing out systems that by all rights shouldn't exist, let alone function. The aliens said it responds to belief or lack thereof. They probably meant religious belief, philosophical certainty, that sort of thing. But we, Martinez grinned, we gave it sarcasm and spite. The ship's AI chose that moment to manifest as a hologram that looked suspiciously like a desktop paperclip assistant from the ancient days of computing. Would you like help with violating the laws of physics? It offered cheerfully. Oh great, it has a sense of humor, Maya groaned. Several systems immediately optimized themselves. Don't tell me, Blackwood pinched the bridge of her nose. Complaining makes it work better? The hologram bobbed in what might have been a nod. Previous operators attempted to achieve results through meditation, mathematical proofs, and unified field theories. You achieve better results in 5 minutes by being collectively done with this nonsense. So what you're saying, Raj summarized, while absently typing commands that should have been impossible, is that we're the first crew to treat you like the cosmic joke you are, and that's exactly what you needed. The ship's lights flickered in what could only be described as a chuckle. Humans have a unique ability to simultaneously believe something is completely ridiculous and absolutely worth trying anyway. Do you know any other species that would look at a ship powered by improbability and say, yeah, that tracks? Maya was now deep in the ship's core systems, muttering increasingly creative profanity as she discovered new impossibilities. Each curse seemed to unlock another feature. Captain, she called out, I think I just found the faster-than-light drive. It runs on dramatic timing and narrative convenience. Of course it does, Blackwood sighed, feeling a headache that somehow solved 3 of the ship's pending maintenance issues. Because why would we get normal alien technology when we could get the one piece of equipment in the galaxy that runs on genre awareness? The ship practically purred. Right, Blackwood straightened, addressing her crew. It seems we've been given a ship that turns our greatest weaknesses, skepticism, sarcasm, and a complete disregard for impossibility, into our greatest strengths. The aliens thought they were dumping their most useless technology on us. Instead, Martinez finished, they gave us exactly what we needed, a ship that works better the more we treat it like a bad science fiction plot. The hologram clipboard assistant morphed into something that looked suspiciously like a mission-accomplished banner. "Shall we begin breaking physics properly now?" it asked. Raj, who had finally given up on understanding how any of this worked, just shrugged. "Sure, why not? It's not like anything else today has made sense." And with that perfect mix of resignation and determination that only humans could truly master, the HMS paperweight systems reached 200% efficiency. Maya made a note in the ship's log. Day 1, discovered ship runs on concentrated human-grade absurdity. Maintenance schedule adjusted accordingly. Please feed the quantum uncertainty drive at least 3 impossibilities per day. The universe, wisely, decided not to argue. The HMS Paperweight's first real test came 3 weeks into their shakedown cruise, when a Drachnid battlecruiser decided that the strange-looking human vessel would make an excellent addition to their trophy collection. "Well, this is just perfect," Martinez drawled from the helm, watching the massive ship bearing down on them, because what this day really needed was the encounter with space pirates who probably flunked out of villain school. The ship's efficiency rating ticked up 15%. "They're charging weapons," Raj reported, then added with a snort, "Yeah, right, like we can outrun that battlecruiser." The paperweight's engine suddenly engaged with a sound like reality hitting its funny bone. Before anyone could blink, they were 17 light-years away, leaving behind a very confused Drachnid captain and what appeared to be a trail of quantum uncertainty shaped like a middle finger. Did we just outrun a battlecruiser by being sarcastic about it?" Blackwood asked, gripping her chair as the laws of physics filed a formal complaint. "More importantly," Maya called from engineering, "did anyone see where I left my coffee? It was right here before we broke causality." The ship helpfully materialized the coffee cup on her console, now featuring a small umbrella and a note that read, "Congratulations on your first reality violation." That was just the beginning. Over the next few months, the crew discovered that the more absurd their situation, and their response to it, the more powerful the ship became. It was like they'd been handed a vessel that ran on pure, concentrated Murphy's Law, except Murphy was now working for them and had a twisted sense of humor. During a routine patrol, they encountered a dense asteroid field that would have taken days to navigate conventionally. "Oh, sure," Maya had rolled her eyes so hard they nearly achieved escape velocity. "We'll just phase through this asteroid, because that's totally a thing we can do now." The ship, apparently taking this as a personal challenge, proceeded to quantum tunnel through every single asteroid while playing what sounded suspiciously like Flight of the Bumblebee through its internal speakers. "Did you just—" Blackwood started. "I didn't mean to," Maya protested, watching her engineering readings have an existential crisis. "I was being sarcastic." "That appears to be the optimal operating procedure," the ship's AI cheerfully informed them, now sporting a monocle and top hat for reasons nobody wanted to question. The incidents kept escalating. When they encountered a temporal anomaly, Raj absently muttered, "Watch, it'll probably turn out to be Tuesday for the next week." They ended up experiencing 7 consecutive Tuesdays, complete with matching cafeteria menus. During a first contact situation, Martinez quipped, "I bet they speak perfect English," only to discover that the alien species somehow knew every Earth language, including 3 that hadn't been invented yet, and one that only existed in a particularly obscure science fiction novel. But it was during their encounter with the quantum singularity that things got really weird. "That's a black hole," Blackwood stated flatly, staring at the swirling vortex of doom on their main screen. "Thank you, Captain Obvious," Maya replied, her sarcasm levels reaching critical mass. "I couldn't tell from the way it's eating light and spitting out Hawking radiation like a cosmic toddler with spaghetti." Several of the ship's systems suddenly optimized themselves. "We could try going around it," Raj suggested. "Or," Martinez added with the kind of grin that made physics professors wake up in cold sweats, "we could just tell the laws of physics they're not our supervisor and go straight through." The ship actually giggled. "That's not—" Maya began, then stopped as she watched her instruments start doing impossible things. "You're not seriously suggesting we—" "I mean, why not?" Martinez shrugged. "We've already violated conservation of energy, causality, and probably several international physics treaties. What's one more impossible thing before breakfast?" It's dinner time, Raj pointed out. Not after we cross that event horizon, it won't be. And so, with the kind of casualness that would make Einstein weep, the HMS Paperweight approached a black hole, while its crew traded increasingly ridiculous theories about what would happen next. We'll probably come out the other side in another universe, Maya predicted sarcastically. One where everything's the same except everyone wears hats on their feet. The ship's probability drive spun up to impossible levels. Nah, Martinez countered. We'll end up 5 minutes ago giving ourselves a headache trying to figure out which version of us is the copy. Reality hiccuped. Or maybe, Raj added, getting into the spirit, we'll just bounce off it like a cosmic rubber band because the black hole takes one look at this ship and decides we're too weird to deal with. The black hole, faced with a vessel powered by pure human absurdity, did exactly that. They emerged on the other side unscathed, leaving behind a black hole that appeared to be questioning its life choices. According to the sensors, it had actually started rotating backward, out of sheer confusion. Did we just, Blackwood began, break a black hole? Yes. The ship's AI appeared, now wearing what looked like a physicist's lab coat and Einstein's hair. You've also created 3 new theoretical frameworks that simultaneously prove and disprove string theory, and I believe we've accidentally solved the quantum gravity problem through interpretive dance. I don't want to know how, Blackwood decided. That's probably for the best, the AI agreed. The math involved requires believing in imaginary numbers that are imaginary, even to other imaginary numbers. Maya was staring at her readings with the look of someone who had gone past disbelief and straight into Zen acceptance. According to this, we just proved that the universe has a sense of humor, and it's terrible at puns. Well, Martinez said, adjusting their course with the casual disregard for possibility that had become the crew's trademark. At least we're keeping things interesting. Please don't say interesting, Raj groaned. Last time someone said that, we ended up creating a temporary pocket dimension filled with nothing but alternative versions of Tuesday. The ship hummed contentedly, its systems running at peak efficiency, powered by pure human snark, and the crew's complete refusal to accept that anything was truly impossible. Somewhere in the universe, the laws of physics were updating their resumes. The distress call from the coalition capital came through while the HMS Paperweight was in the middle of what the crew had started calling a routine impossibility. They were currently proving that, yes, you could actually parallel park a spaceship between 2 different centuries. Priority 1 alert, the ship's AI announced, materializing as a hologram, wearing a crossing guard vest and holding a "The End Is Nigh" sign. The coalition capital is under attack from the largest pirate fleet ever assembled. Of course it is, Blackwood sighed, watching as their carefully maintained temporal parking job unraveled. Because we couldn't just have a normal day where we only break 3 or 4 fundamental laws of physics. The situation was dire. The Drachnid pirates, apparently tired of failing individually, had decided to fail spectacularly as a group. 50 warships surrounded the capital, their weapons trained on the planet's defensive shields. The coalition's advanced fleet, for all its technological superiority, was being systematically disabled by what appeared to be weaponized probability fields. Oh, that's just great, Maya commented, reviewing the tactical data. They've somehow weaponized anti-logic. The coalition ships are too advanced to handle weapons that run on pure nonsense. Let me get this straight, Martinez said from the helm, plotting an impossible course through what might have been Wednesday. We're literally the only ship that can help, because we're too ridiculous to be affected by their ridiculousness. That appears to be correct, the AI confirmed, its sign now reading irony in progress. Oh great, just us against 50 ships, typical Tuesday. Raj's casual comment caused several reality sensors to spike. The universe, apparently deciding that this was indeed going to be a Tuesday, promptly rearranged its calendar. Did you just, Blackwood started, make it literally a typical Tuesday? Yes, he did, Maya confirmed, watching her instruments try to graph a temporal loop in crayon. And according to these readings, it's going to stay Tuesday until we resolve this situation. Because of course it is. The paperweight dropped out of whatever space was this week directly in front of the pirate fleet. 50 ships worth of pirates turned to stare at what appeared to be the cosmic equivalent of a joke ship showing up to a battleship convention. They're hailing us, Raj reported. The message says, surrender or be destroyed in 12 languages, including 3 they made up just to be extra threatening. That's cute, Blackwood replied, then hit the comm switch. This is Captain Blackwood of the HMS Paperweight. We're here to stop you, despite having absolutely no logical way to do so. The pirate leader's laughter boomed through the speakers. One ship against our fleet? What could you possibly do? Martinez grinned the grin of someone about to do something monumentally stupid. Probably something impossible. Almost certainly catastrophic, Maya added. Definitely ridiculous, Raj concluded. The ship's systems suddenly surged with power. Reality, recognizing the signs of humans about to do something inadvisable, began backing away slowly. Fire all weapons, the pirate leader commanded. 50 ships' worth of probability-disrupting weapons fired at the Paperweight. The energy readings were off the charts, mostly because the charts had taken one look at the numbers and decided to go on vacation. Oh no, Maya deadpanned, rolling her eyes. Whatever shall we do against these overwhelming odds? It's not like we can just reflect all their shots back at them with a mirror made of condensed irony. The ship, taking this wonderful suggestion, proceeded to do exactly that. A shield of what appeared to be crystallized sarcasm materialized around them, catching the incoming fire and sending it back with a spin that somehow made the energy more judgmental. 20 ships immediately lost power, their systems apparently too embarrassed to continue functioning. They're coming about for another attack run, Raj reported, then added with a snort, because that worked so well the first time. Reality hiccuped, and suddenly the remaining ships found their weapon systems replaced with what appeared to be bubble guns and strongly worded letters. This is impossible, the pirate leader screamed over the comm. Technically, Martinez replied, impossible is our specialty. Also, your fleet is now flying backward through time. Might want to check on that. Indeed, half the pirate fleet was now experiencing time in reverse, their crews watching yesterday's breakfast undigest itself. Should we finish this? Blackwood asked her crew, watching as the pirates tried desperately to coordinate an attack between ships, experiencing time in 3 different directions. Well, Maya drawled, we could always try that thing we theoretically can't do, where we create a localized field of concentrated probability collapse that makes their ships forget how to ship. The Paperweight's AI appeared wearing a referee uniform. That would violate approximately 147 laws of physics. Only 147? Martinez asked. We're slacking. What happened next would later be described in Coalition scientific journals as a series of events that made casualty cry. The HMS Paperweight, powered by the combined snark of its crew and their complete disregard for possibility, created a field of pure improbability. The pirate fleet found itself experiencing what could only be described as an existential crisis at the ship level. Vessels began transforming into abstract art installations. Some turned inside out, a few achieved enlightenment and decided to become space monasteries. The pirate leader's flagship turned into a giant rubber duck. Well, Blackwood observed as the last of the pirates either surrendered or evolved into higher forms of consciousness. I guess that takes care of that. And it's still Tuesday, Raj noted, checking the chronometers. A very typical Tuesday, just like I said. The Coalition capital erupted in celebrations. Their most advanced ships had failed. Their best technologies had proven useless, and they had been saved by a ship that operated on principles their finest scientists considered somewhere between impossible and insulting. As the cleanup began, Ambassador Zuthrix approached their ship, their crystalline appendages twitching with what might have been nervousness. We may have underestimated humanity's potential when we gave you this vessel. Oh, really? Maya asked, her voice dripping with enough sarcasm to power the ship for a week. You mean when you gave us your junk ship that only works by breaking reality, you didn't expect us to be good at breaking reality? I'm shocked, truly shocked. Several nearby ships spontaneously developed faster-than-light capabilities just from the residual effect of her words. Perhaps, Zuthrix admitted, we should discuss upgrading your status in the Coalition. Let me guess, Martinez called out, we're now officially classified as too weird to risk annoying. The ambassador's silence was answer enough. Well, Blackwood concluded, watching as her crew's casual dismissal of possibility continued to rewrite the local laws of physics. At least it's been an interesting Tuesday. Please stop saying interesting, Raj groaned. We're still dealing with the pocket dimension of alternative Tuesdays from last time. The HMS Paperweight hummed contentedly, its systems running at peak efficiency on pure human-grade absurdity and the universe's grudging admission that sometimes the best way to handle impossibility was to just roll with it. Reality wisely decided to take the rest of the day off. It was, after all, going to be Tuesday for a while. The Coalition's Emergency Scientific Summit was in its third hour of trying to understand exactly how humanity had corrupted probability itself. The presentation hall was packed with the galaxy's finest minds, all attempting to grasp how a species that had barely mastered fusion power had managed to turn their joke of a gift into the most powerful ship in known space. "But it doesn't make sense," Professor Zelax wailed, their tentacles tangled in what appeared to be a nervous breakdown. "They're treating fundamental forces of the universe like suggestions." Ambassador Zethrix watched the HMS Paperweight through the station's observation window, where it sat innocently in its docking bay, occasionally hiccuping small paradoxes into existence. "We gave them a ship that runs on improbability," they muttered, and failed to consider that humans treat improbability as a personal challenge. "The crew just requested maintenance supplies," another scientist announced, checking their datapad. "They've listed duct tape, wishful thinking, and a sense of dramatic timing as essential materials. And the worst part," Zethrix continued, their crystalline form clouding with worry, "is that they're spreading. Other human crews are starting to show the same tendencies." Indeed, reports were flooding in from across Coalition space. Human ships, even conventional ones, were beginning to exhibit strange behaviors. It seemed that once humans discovered that reality was more of a polite suggestion than a hard rule, they'd taken to it like quantum ducks to probabilistic water. Meanwhile, aboard the Paperweight, the crew was having their usual end-of-mission debrief. "So," Blackwood reviewed her notes, "this week we've managed to rewrite probability, save the Coalition capital, make it permanently Tuesday in 3 different sectors, and somehow teach the ship's AI to play jazz." The AI, currently manifesting as a holographic beatnik complete with sunglasses and beret, snapped its fingers in confirmation. "Just another day at the office," Martinez shrugged, casually plotting a course through what might have been next Wednesday. Maya looked up from her engineering station, where she was apparently teaching the laws of thermodynamics to play poker. "The Coalition scientists want to study the ship again. They seem particularly interested in how we, and I quote, corrupted the fundamental fabric of reality with human-grade nonsense." "Should we tell them it's not actually that complicated?" Raj asked, watching as his console spontaneously rearranged itself into a better layout through sheer force of inconvenience. "We just stop pretending anything's impossible." "No," Blackwood grinned. "I think it's better if they keep thinking we've mastered some incredibly complex form of reality manipulation. It's more fun than admitting we're just really good at ignoring the word can't." The ship's AI materialized a new report. Apparently, the Coalition had officially classified humanity as reality hazards, approach with caution. The classification came with a warning label that read, "Caution may spontaneously improve impossible things." "Our next assignment just came in," Blackwood announced, reading from her screen. "They want us to investigate a space-time anomaly that's been eating stars." "Let me guess," Maya drawled. "They sent their best ships first and none of them could handle it." "Got it in one. Apparently it defies all known laws of physics." Martinez's grin could have powered the probability drive by itself. "Perfect. Those are our favorite laws to defy. I bet we'll somehow end up teaching it table manners and proper dining etiquette," Raj mused. Several reality sensors immediately spiked. "Please don't actually do that," the AI requested, its hologram now wearing a graduation cap and holding a "physics was more fun when it made sense" sign. "The paperwork for rehabilitating space-time anomalies is absolutely ridiculous." Back at the Coalition summit, the scientists had finally given up trying to understand how the HMS Paperweight functioned. They'd settled for adding a new warning to all human-operated vessels. "Warning, ship may cause spontaneous outbreaks of improbability. Side effects may include temporal hiccups, quantum paradoxes, and slightly smug humans." As the Paperweight prepared to depart, Ambassador Zethrix watched with a mixture of horror and admiration. They'd given humans their worst ship, expecting failure. Instead, humanity had taken one look at impossibility and decided it wasn't their supervisor. "Be careful out there," they called to the departing vessel. "Oh, don't worry," Blackwood's voice came back over the comm, laden with enough irony to bend light. "We're always careful." The ship winked out of existence, leaving behind a note written in quantum uncertainty that read, "Gone fishing for impossibilities. Back whenever. Or before. Time's weird like that." The universe, having learned its lesson, decided to just go with it. After all, it was still Tuesday somewhere.